counter you. That's exactly what happened in the early game.
Giants selecting red side for game number 2. So things mixing up here. There's a Malzahar ban at a G2 to start things off.
Yeah, it's another blue side ban here, so it seems that teams are no longer willing to early pick Malzahar, not that strong, but they don't want to give it away. You have a lot of leeway on these blue sides to kind of pick or ban away just annoying stuff that you don't really want to deal with. We're no longer in a meta where everything is just super broken, especially on red side.
Speaking of annoying stuff for Giants, the Nautilus, that's banned away now, so Mithy won't get a chance on it. Fizz also banned G2 once again.
Again, these strong kind of top lane champions that are a little bit niche, like the Fizz, they want to remove them from the top lane champion pool so Flaxxish can't carry. This guy is already playing with much lower jungle proximity than a lot of the other top laners here. Last game, rather, we saw Giants trying to solve that, send Memento there early, but it backfired. They didn't quite get the gank off. Flaxxish actually engaged a little bit too early. They gave it away to, gave away the gank rather to G2, and then G2 could at least adapt.
Memento also got set a little bit behind too, had to give up his life and his flash early on, and G2 making a cheeky play. You got to think Giants will be ready for this one this time around. The Shen's banned now by them. They're sticking it to the top lane. Well, Nautilus is flex, you can't support, and there's a Renekton ban by G2.
Right, it looks like G2 actually just wants to play Rumble again, or Giants may actually early rotate the pick itself, removing the strong tanks away, getting just a pressure top lane matchup is what they're looking for.
All right, we'll see what Giants take as their last ban. Maybe they ban the Rumble themselves. It's been a lot of top lanes.
Camille is also still there.
That's
you
true.
may not want to give that over.
Thinking about that one right now. A lot of talk, a lot of chatter on the Giants headsets, and it is Camille banned away.
The Galio tribute.
He's not changed yet, not on this patch.
Time to say goodbye if you want to. It's likely going to be this Rumble though, because there's only a few picks left here that you can really pick into it, where he doesn't get the push. Obviously, you can play Rumble matchups, and you need jungle pressure. There's also a case to be made for Elise if you want to play that style if you're G2. Would be surprised to see the Rengar here. I think it's okay. I think you can definitely play it, but it doesn't seem to be the highest value.
No, and that goes back to the Rumble at the last second. They switch it up. So we'll see what Giants opt to play into it this time around.
I mean, Giants, they just still need to put all the money on the early game. I would just draft Elise here again. Elise Lulu is a good opener. Elise Ashe is something you could play.
Yeah, possibility. We saw in the last time around, G2, they took their first pick phase to grab that Ashe themselves. Lee Sin as well. A lot of early pressure from the G2 side. The Giants match that. Do they take the Ashe here? 3 seconds. And it's, wow, the Rengar.
Okay, they play the Rengar. There are quite a few matchups where he is the weaker jungle matchup, so we need to supplement that with stronger lanes. This is also kind of a late spiker. Rengar has maybe one gank level 3-4 where he can try, but other than that, he will be farming until 6, and with the skill difference in individual player talent, I think level 6 may just be too late already.
Yeah, Memento hasn't honestly played a whole lot of Rengar throughout this split. It's only going to be his second game on it, and the Ashe is locked in. That's definitely been much more what HeaQ's been playing, but everybody in the European LCS was playing Ashe.
Yeah, AP top laner makes it so that you can comfortably pick an AD jungler, and that seems to what Trick is looking for. This is something we saw very often. Obviously no CC between the two of them, but just wealth of damage.
Oh, yes, indeed. And honestly, Trick is able to get this Graves rolling on a number of occasions quite earlier than you might expect from players that are hoping for, you know, that level 6 to be able to dish all the damage. Very comfortable pick for Trick throughout his tenure in the European LCS, and he locks it.
Yeah, I wonder if Mithy is just going to lock in the Pixie Fairy here. You know, with that polymorph, you could really shut down a Rengar engage. You don't really want to give that combo bot lane either. Ashe with a range support that can poke so well, that can also then put Wild Growth on Rengar is actually quite a good combo for Giants.
Ooh, yeah. Let's see if they deny it. 10 seconds still ticking for G2. They're taking more time, both teams, honestly, in this pick phase.
It's definitely something they're thinking about.
The Tahm Kench, though, that's a Mithy special.
Yeah, they're going for a different kind of denial. Again, just wanting some frontline. Playing these all damage comps with no frontline is quite hard to play. And this way they also have really massive displacement. Is this the standard old school counter to Ashe very often? At Worlds we saw Tahm Kench banned and Ashe rotated then because it was just so easy to play against this arrow. When you play Ashe versus the Tahm Kench comp, you kind of have to hit the Tahm Kench himself.
Yep. Stop him from doing a whole lot and try to take him down to 0 before the Grey Health comes into effect. Giants, instead of a Lulu, looks like they're opting into some more tanky supports themselves. That's a Braum.
It seems just like a read on Hustlin. I think they're not afraid of the Lulu because just Hustlin doesn't play it either, or plays it just not very well. And the fact that he goes for a Braum here indicates like champion pool issue for sure. This is not where you would expect the Braum pick to come out.
In the first set of picks, they take themselves their bottom lane, but definitely a little more unorthodox. Giants now, they're going to go ahead and ban away the Jhin. G2 still looking for an AD carry on their side, but that looks a bit dated.
Yeah, I don't think... Jhin is alright in this patch, but I don't think you can ever squeeze Zven here. This guy's going to play into Ashe Braum. This guy can play any AD carry with any support and definitely go even CS because there's just not enough pressure.
Yeah, back to Giants. Let's see what they do again. Do they continue to try and squeeze Zven?
They just get rid of the... G2 gets rid of one of these strong laners into the Rumble here. Again, this is top lane squeeze. Maybe they just get... They won't get rid of the Lulu, obviously, here where they did last game. And yeah, you were right. More squeezing on the AD carry position.
Yeah, Kalista. That one banned away from Zven now. G2, let's see what they do. Is it once again going to be something against the Rumble? The Gnar was banned out last time. See if they do that again against Flaxxish.
That seems very predictable here. That's a good spot here. If you're Giants, pick the Syndra here, I guess. Syndra, Orianna, two good blind picks, but neither really has an edge. Or do you want to wait with your counter pick mid and just lock in top lane here? What are you going to play into the Rumble? I guess, yeah. I guess you just lock in top here if you want to save your counter pick.
Oh, maybe Knight's trying to have his way once again. This Talon, he did get a couple of kills, but it just didn't do enough, and he stuck to it so much, and one of the few to really commit to it. They take it blind.
It feels like they're so afraid of PerkZ playing Talon here or something that they lock it this early, because they set up an entire draft where they have mid lane last pick, right? And they just don't use it. What are they going to end up last picking here? Which role? It's the top lane. So they're going to use their last pick to pick a champion in the champion that was picked first by G2 Esports. That generally indicates that your draft wasn't good. And of course, Zven is like 90% sure to just lock in Ezreal. Super safe laning phase with the Tahm Kench. The only way Giants break that open is if they actually group with their jungler and poke. But Rengar is not a type of champion that does that. So unless Talon actually roams down and punishes the push from Ashe, it's going to be super hard for Giants to break open this game.
Yeah, and PerkZ can very comfortably take the Zilean again if he wants to against the Talon. He's going to lock it in. That's the last one over to Giants.
They have now 2 denial spells versus this hard engage from Giants. Giants, they're playing with a massive shotgun. Talon, Rengar, they go in, they pop you, or they die. And that's exactly what G2 are countering here with the Devour and with the Zilean.
Yeah, same kind of comp from Giants last time. We saw that not quite work out. G2, they've got some pretty scary team fights, but a lot of denial from that pick.
All right, Flaxxish, give me the secret weapon.
What do you got?
Tell me what was so important that you had the first rotation Talon, not pick a single champion and play a side laner. It's going to be the Ekko. All right.
Let's see if it works out for him. I do not know. Double TP on Giant side.
You know
Wait a minute, though.
I actually like this pick. No, they should swap it around. If it's actually Talon top, I'd be interested.
That'd be crazy.
Regardless who plays this Ekko, I actually like the pick a lot because Ekko is one of the stronger side lane mages. It's really hard to beat him. He can also run double teleport, which solves that issue where Zilean himself is running double TP. These guys can swap up until 20 seconds, but I think it's somewhat worth seeing this Ekko in the second phase.
Yeah. We'll see if Giant's secret weapon is enough to pull off a win. Yeah, they still can swap this one.
2 more. 1. And
there we go.
It's locked, so it is going to be Ekko in the mid lane into Zilean. Has a really annoying harass pattern for Zilean to deal with all the jumps. And an 80 burst top laner into Rumble top. This is such a swingy matchup. Oh, we need to see the junglers visit this matchup early on in the top lane.
Well, we saw that last time around, Krepa. We might see it again as the coaches shake hands to walk off the stage. It could be the final time today. G2 really crushing it in game number 1, looking for a 2-0, continuing that undefeated streak. And with a win, they'll lock themselves in that first seed for Group A.
But this is fun. When matches are so predictable and you think, you know what, G2, they're going to walk in the park, take a 2-0, we get something different. We get something spicy. You know, the Talon in the top lane, Ekko mid for Knight. A pick we've seen before, but at least we see potential for Giants to really break it open this super hard engaged game.
Yeah, Giants, they've definitely been trying. They're not going to roll over and take a loss from G2 lightly. Can they claw back a game with their switcheroo in the pick and ban phase? If you think so, hop on Twitter and tweet hashtag GIA win over at LOL eSports. We'll find out as we load onto the Rift.
Yeah, there's a minor small pause right now on the Rift, so we're just going to keep the studio cam on for a little bit.
Suspense building.
Yep, just building the hype.
It was a quick client crash. We'll get that one rebooted. Sometimes you bug splat.
Yeah, occasionally. No Kha'Zix this game, though.
Yeah, not this time around. It's a quickie, though, and it honestly heightening the tension here. Giants, they are hoping that they can grab themselves a surprise victory here. A lot of pick potential if they can pop members of G2 before Mithy can come to the rescue, before PerkZ can deny those. Yeah, I mean, there's so many tools on the side of G2, and they know how to use them. But we saw Giants picking up a couple of kills last time around. Maybe they can roll the snowball.
Yeah, maybe they can. We'll need to see how these lanes play out. Push should be on the side of... I feel like Ekko will have the push early on in the mid lane too. So it could actually be that the Giants, if they visit top lane for some pressure, they could end up with quite a few pushing lanes if they play it well. It all depends on where Memento paths. If he can get into the lane, for example, Rengar isn't a great ganker, but he's a great counter ganker if he can sneak into a lane somewhere.
Yeah, that's a good point. They prioritize that pretty heavily. You got to think if Giants had this whole comp in mind, they've got a cheeky plan. We'll find out. We're about to load up once again. take number 2 every now and again. It happens, but here we go onto the Rift. Keep an eye on these two in the mid lane, PerkZ and Knight, and see what they're able to dish out this time. Knight swapping things up with the Talon going top and Ekko going mid.
I mean, there still may be a role swap within a lane swap, right?
I mean, that is just too many levels for me, Crepo. I can't handle it.
That would actually be really funny, because these guys don't actually have to go into the lane.
Mind games.
Where they go, yep.
That's true. Just because that's where you sit doesn't mean it. We've seen a couple of tricky things happen.
I remember TSM doing that, because back in the day, the 3 bans, they weren't spaced out. They were all in the top laner. And Reggie became a top laner just so he no longer had to kind of tell Dyrus what to ban. He just did it himself.
Surprise, Twisted Fate top.
Yep. Turns out it's a roll swap 2 mid anyways.
Hey, well, it's like, that's the full circle, right?
Yep. That's actually a cool way to get around the rules.
No cheeky moves by G2 this time. Stacking line of scrimmage. Last time around, if you remember, they walked their way right into Memento and smacked him down for first blood. But this time, Giants are playing it safe out, and G2 are not going to go for it.
And I really actually hate playing Braum into Tahm Kench. It's a really tough matchup. Because every single good thing about Braum is like the passive stacking, right? And the shield. It gets completely denied. Because you're a champion that plays well in the front line if you're kind of melee skirmishing, but Tahm Kench is just better. He'll hit you 3 times and devour you, and you get all that % damage. Tahm Kench himself doesn't really get cared if he gets stacked because he has the great health. It's such a punishing matchup to play.
And Hustlin picked this when he already knew that Tahm Kench was coming. I mean, that's the puzzling thing. And maybe, as you said, it denotes some champion pool issues here. Hard leash from Memento as Hustlin and HeaQ helping out on the blue buff.
It's definitely a priority pick for him. And this means they lose the push in bottom lane as well, because there's that Raptor start from Trick, a little leash from PerkZ. PerkZ is fine yielding the pressure. Look at Zven, he's like kind of soft prepping the wave. They're not fast pushing. They don't need to push any more than this. They get a single creep advantage with the option to opt in the second creep. And now they can just slow it down, right? They want to get the minions in a state where you always guarantee that you have the push, but not so much that you give your enemies a chance to freely farm on the turret. That way you can maximize the time you spend level 2 where they are level 1. And that's obviously after 3 melee creeps here. They're going to rush it down right now and see if they can then get some poke advantage on the enemy bot lane rather.
Yeah. Showcasing superiority in that bottom lane, but Trick has gone in for the level 2 gank. He just dashes, but so does Knight. That's a lot of damage with the end of the line, though.
And you know how we were talking about earlier, how if you sacrifice that bomb, you lose the push versus this Ekko maybe? Well, it doesn't matter. PerkZ plays super aggro, and Knight just gets poked out by Trick here, who has no issues revealing himself, because this is all in the terms of pressure.
Oh, yes. Taking a look at Flaxxish up in the top side. He's keeping pace with Expect in terms of CS, but it's obviously a very early start. Talk me through this matchup in the top lane, Crepo. This is something I don't often see.
I mean, I'm no Talon expert. I mean, generally when you see Rumble, your analysis is Rumble pushes earlier very often. And then you need to avoid the ganks. And that's exactly what's happening here. He lost some CS on the early push. Flaxxish has the trades. He can actually play more aggressive in lane than most top laners, and he's incredibly hard to gank because he can always just jump over that really big wall.
Yep. Knight making PerkZ life a little bit hard, but the bomb return damage. Talked about junglers and where they were going to be going this game, and Memento hasn't made the journey, but Trick was already on that level 2 in the mid lane. Does he return there, is the question.
Yeah, it's the problem with the Z-Drive Resonance as well on the Ekko. If he deals enough damage, like the passive pops, he speeds up and it's really hard to double bomb him, right? Like a stationary target, yes, but if he dashes in, deals damage, and walks out and you miss your double bomb, you will just take so much damage. So that's why the pressure advantage really is on this Ekko.
Yeah. Even though PerkZ was taking some damage, he's able to keep the farm advantage for himself.
Ooh, that's actually a good point. This guy's up 8 CS. That should never happen early on.
It's a big difference in how they've been playing. Memento is going to get spotted.
This sucks. If you're Memento, you just cleared your jungle, you see the enemy walk in, take away your scrying plant, and put a ward on top of you. This means this guy is playing against a team that has perfect information. Yeah,
feels bad, man. And Memento, honestly, he's been such a crucial part of this Giants team throughout the split, looking to him to make the big plays early on. And in all honesty, when he gets shut down, doesn't really work out well for them.
Yeah, see it again here. He, obviously, a decent player on a really bad team is prone to get these kind of stats. You know, this guy has the highest damage percent for junglers, mostly because his team is not dealing that much damage. You know, he has the highest kill percent because, again, his team isn't getting that many kills. He needs his team to step up, but also he needs to be able to kind of help the lanes, because we saw earlier how much a single gank can do for you. PerkZ now has a flash.
Single play, but yeah, the bomb's
out. Here comes actually just gonna be killed.
Here we go. Here's the time for him to shine, and he gets first blood.
PerkZ, that was
greedy.
That was interesting with the capitalization on the int and the ing. That was really not good.
Oh man, You're on fire today, Crepo. All right, 5 minutes in now. Giants, they get themselves first blood. It's on that jungler. Maybe that's the start of something. The pick composition that Giants have built for themselves. Baiting PerkZ in to an inadvisable situation. Zven and Mithy, though, is still pushing on this bottom side into the duels.
And when we look at the matchups, we can look at the greatest. You know, we don't need to look at Expect versus Flaxxish, but Smeb actually played Talon into Rumble, and he lost in that matchup. Then again, he was playing versus SKT, so maybe that's unfair.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, quality is...
So we know that Talon loses to Rumble when you play versus SKT. Does it lose to Rumble when you play versus the European SKT?
I suppose.
G2 eSports.
But right now, I don't know if PerkZ is necessarily faker with the way this one got played out.
I mean, he knows that if this is a pure 1v1, he can actually get a double bomb on Knight pretty comfortably. Problem is, the jungle just showed up, and he also probably didn't expect Ekko to have enough mana for both spells, because that was borderline enough. So you definitely understand the rationale there from PerkZ. He knows he can make hang on, just watch his dive.
Okay, wave flashing in, and Expect is gonna...
All right, back to the point. He knows he can make a calculated play, and if it fails, he has his flash to save him. Obviously, he wasn't thinking about the jungler. Now, these type of plays, I just love here. Just pressure early with Rumble, put him low, and then get your jungler to dive in, and it seems so easy.
Gating what the Talon can really do. Hard for him to really make a big play here. Now, PerkZ and Knight both taking a little bit low. PerkZ does not have his flash. Knight's still sitting on that one, so might need it in just a minute, though. He's getting taken quite low at the minute, but let's see Trick coming around the side. Knight does have 6. Is he going to pull that snapback? No, he does, right into PerkZ, trying to make the play. One more auto is all he needs, and he gets it.
Ooh, Knight's actually going to walk away here, so this is super well played by the Giants mid laner here, but PerkZ, with a bit of an error in positioning, you can definitely see that trailing ghost. You know where he's going to ulti here. Both bombs used as well. Trick picked up one to get some damage, but he went a bit too far forward, and he got left behind. Very well played by Knight here on the Ekko.
Yeah, I can give him a couple of stacks on his Dark Seal too, so he'll have a little extra damage working on it.
And this is really fun to see, because now we can see, has PerkZ solved one of his issues? This guy used to be a massive tilter, and he admits it freely as well. But he actually was pretty proud of how he handled and deals with kind of bad streaks of luck right now, or just misplays, where he will only get effective for a few minutes and then play super consistent again.
All right, we'll get back to that in just a second, because Memento's jumping on top of Expect, who has his flash. He should be able to walk this one out pretty easily. Memento taking a tower shot. But more to your point,
yeah,
it has been a little odd to see kind of PerkZ falling a little bit into those bad habits, and in all honesty, he was running a clinic on Knight last game.
Yeah, I was looking for the outplay here, but the added mobility from this Ekko pick makes it so that he has a lot harder time getting the double bombs that he was getting a game ago.
Memento's back. Let's see if he can find Expect now. Still holding on to that flash. He's going to have to burn it. Shadow Assault. There goes the equalizer, and Flaxxish is left alone. He has to hop the wall. Way too late.
What an absolutely bonkers play by Expect here. He completely turns it around. He gets the flash, which means if then Flaxxish gets the gap closer down, he will land straight on an equalizer, and Memento went for the dive super obviously without his ultimate available, so no kind of stacks gain faster for that Rengar, so that was a really ill-advised dive there.
Yeah, you know, it's going a little rough in the early game when you try for a dive, you get outplayed under the tower. Expect safe enough. I mean, he's honestly been playing with a lot of pressure these days, so he knows how to handle it.
Yeah, if you say you failed, try and try again here. That is not true when you're playing a jungler. If you go to the lane, you fail at a play at all, this guy gets away without flash being used, probably not wise going back again.
Yeah, maybe he learns that one lesson. Let's see. 2-2 in kills, though. Still a very even game on the goal, but it has been a lot of play attempts. Knight is going to wait and bait in this brush, but who is baiting who? Smokescreen comes in to cover up Knight, and PerkZ dodges out of the parallel convergence.
Yeah. PerkZ steps out. Just looking to play wave clear duty right now. Hustlin, looking for some river vision. The bot lane, not really too much has happened, but again, Zven up in CS.
Yeah. Zven is definitely keeping HeaQ and Hustlin kind of push back on this one. Let's take a look one more time at the play up top.
Yeah, I really love the flash timing here. Like he waits for them to get the aggro, then flashes out, so he knows that when Flaxxish plans to proc that ultimate, if Memento wants to follow that damage, both of them would play on Equalizer, and it's so easy to juggle the turret aggro out there. Just not enough damage for the burst.
Yeah, beautiful play by Expect. Flaxxish 0-2 on this Talon. The switcheroo has not done what they wanted. He's finding himself down in the CS as well. Memento.
Man in jungle. Mithy is looking for him. Trick is actually quite a strong jungler when it comes to awareness of where the enemy jungler could be. Very rarely do you see G2 play without knowledge of where the opposing jungler is.
Yeah, it gives them a lot of foresight, a lot of ability to not make these bad plays. PerkZ safely pushing now as he knows Memento is not going to be ganking this lane anytime soon as he wandered back into his own jungle. A lot of vision for Giants, though, in this G2 jungle on the bottom side. They just haven't been able to do much but take away camps.
They lose a ward there, but they were playing with 4 control wards on the map here. A lot more even game here, and a lot of it comes from this pressure in the mid lane.
Whoop. Well, PerkZ is taken low, but he does not have to use his chrono shift.
Yeah, he always has means to get back into the lane, but this is an entirely different scope what we saw last game. PerkZ going up versus Knight here, not longer the one being the aggressor, you know, putting the poke down. Look at it last game. Such a stellar performance, didn't die a single time, was really aware. 750 damage per minute, which is quite high, especially on a pick like Zilean. Yep. He was landing a lot of bombs in laning phase as well.
Yeah, he was looking real excellent. This time Knight definitely threw him a bit of a curveball, but we'll see what happens down on the bottom side. Mithy, the Ashe arrow lands on him. He has to burn his flash.
Yeah, but Knight is coming as well here, so they're looking for great help to take down. Now Knight wants to dive.
Okay, Parallel Convergence thrown down. G2 know what is up. Hustlin flashing forward. Instant exhaust on the Knight. That is a big glacial fissure here. Can they finish off Mithy before Hustlin goes down? The answer is yes, but it's a 1-for-1 trade. Knight going in. Here, Bada, he's looking for Zven, and he swings, but it's HeaQ that claims the kill onto Zven.
Yeah, Flaxxish made his way down with teleport as well. We see mid lane PerkZ approaching as well, but double bombs are down, so is the refresh. Not too much is going to happen here. I like the way Hustling still applied all the stacks that were necessary. Memento's flanking as well. Is PerkZ in trouble?
He's got flash. It doesn't look like it. Meanwhile, up top, Trick is able to take a tower.
Yeah, Trick can turn a bad situation into a great one because this guy knows how to capitalize here. Look at what he's doing on the top side of the map. Over prioritization here from Giants on that play. While they win out in the microcosm, if you zoom out the map in the big side, the macro, G2 win out yet again.
Just have better awareness of what's going on, and now Knight, looks like PerkZ was looking to dive him, but Knight was ready at the back of it all still, even though they make an individual outplays here. Expect is on top of Flaxxish with the Shadow Assault.
He's got to guess, you know, you don't see him, but now Knight gets cancelled again here.
Knight can't catch a break now.
PerkZ not falling for the same bait here, just going for the base cancels, and now there's so much pressure on this Giants lineup.
Let's see if Giants can hold off the push right now. We're getting close to 12 minutes on the mark. G2, that gold lead starting to swing again.
HeaQ has to be careful here because Mithy can hand deliver anybody behind him with the Abyssal Voyage, which there's a lot of people basing.
It's always a possibility. Right now, G2 don't need to go for the dive, though, because they're just keeping pressure on the mid, pressure on the top. They've already gotten the tower, but there's a teleport here.
All right, PerkZ needs to run down. Mithy can maybe buy enough time here. Zven needs to stay alive.
Yeah, Mithy got walked right into, and instantly you can see Knight. He snaps back all the way to the base. Giants, all of a sudden, they can't keep on pushing.
Yeah, that's a little fishy right there. Obviously, you find yourself 45 down TP and ultimate. This is a major hit to the economy of Giants.
G2, they can keep this pressure on right now. There's a Mountain Drake, too, if they can grab this tower. Well, they have to live through this because Expect steps too far forward, but still, he's able to flash out of danger after the Ashe arrow.
A little bit of a miscalculation there. This is kind of the style that G2 like playing. Looking for small victories over and over, putting the enemy in kind of a gridlock position where they can only make bad plays. They lost their flash, but they gained the teleport cooldown and an Ekko ultimate on the other side, which means now PerkZ can play a lot more aggressive rather. He can really push on the advantage, and obviously a lot easier when Trick is grouping with him.
Despite the fact that Knight had a couple of kills here, wasn't enough for them to really be able to do too much. Here's how he picked him up.
Yeah, a couple things to look for. Hustlin goes in with Q flash to really get the aggro early, then he puts his shield in front of Zven. And then just this last tick here is really important because he gets the exhaust out, and then Zven actually makes the mistake of not flashing early. When you play versus Ekko and he starts his E animation, is often very much so too late to flash. So you really want to respect him and flash early.
Well, Flaxxish is respecting the positional that G2 have. He's going to have to hop the wall, but he dies in the midst of it once again. Expect 3-0 now on this Rumble.
Yeah, 3-0. I think if you hit Talon in his ultimate, you get a kind of a shimmer. So you can see where he is in that invisibility, and that's exactly what happened there. Flaxxish walked in, connected with the Electro Harpoon, and it was enough for Expect to determine his location.
Yep, Flaxxish not having a great time on this Talon. Switch up. Still Knight. He's pretty happy about this Ekko pick. Is it going to be enough? Memento stealing away.
Memento's level 8, by the way.
Red buff.
Trick is level 10. This guy is taking side lane turrets, taking the farm. Now Zven's under pressure. He needs Mithy to warp back in, but Giants are committing.
Flashing forward. Tahm Kench is coming, and he dodges out the Glacial Fissure, but will he die? No, it's Mithy to the rescue.
Yeah.
Spits Zven back out.
HeaQ's tanking a full minion wave. Mithy can actually go mess with him.
Exhaust is on. True Shot Barrage. It's only going to clip onto Hustlin right now, but Giants are on the wrong side of this one. Zven sidesteps the big arrow, and now they're on onto HeaQ once again. Memento coming in to try and finish up a kill. Mithy going low. It's Memento taking down Zven, and Giants, they commit super hard, but it is a 1 for 2.
Yeah, but how much time have they bought? Trick is here, going for one. Trick, can he get two?
In, blown away, trying to finish off Memento. Red buff ticking is not enough, and Knight even tanking tower shots. How low is that HP
and
bar?
now we need to look at the map here. Can PerkZ get damaged mid? No, he says, you know what, I can't finish that turret. I'm just going to prevent Talon from taking top lane tower. So we see PerkZ playing the smart game here, going to the top side of the map here. There was a lot of time bought here. I love the way Zven was just ultra aware of the way the situation could change out. He never blindly went to that trade that Mithy was setting up for him. Kept his distance, sidestepped both ultimates of the enemy bot lane.
Yep, forced a huge commitment from Giants. They still were able to pick up some big kills, but Trick coming in, flashing to manage to finish off one himself. It's 6-6 in kills. It's 15 minutes on the game, and you can see the big goal difference, objective control. It's only one tower, but in all honesty, G2, they're just getting a lot more off the map.
Yeah, but the fatty first tower gold, Pyra, that's what you're looking for.
Oh yeah, we saw that big 650 pop up when Trick was finishing it off himself. G2, they've got the map control. They can keep on working with it. And you can see some of the difference in items starting to come through. HeaQ actually opted for the Blade of the Rune King finish off first, and, well, he might have needed it for the kite.
Oh, Borg Ashe. That's the first. All right. I'm actually not quite sure on that one. I'm not convincingly going to call it bad just yet, but something tells me it's not the greatest.
It's interesting.
It's definitely
that's what I say when I don't know.
Yeah, peculiar. Peculiar build here by HeaQ.
Yeah. Knight's been honestly doing all right though, but a couple kills in lane, getting one down on the bottom side, it just hasn't been enough, and it's the same kind of story when he was playing Talon last time around. He's got the proto belt, he's got assassination potential, but you know, here's where the denial starts to come in. Mithy's, PerkZ, they've just got the tools to be able to stop it. And
ooh, expecting trouble, Pyra.
Yeah, he is.
On. He was hiding in a bush that was warded. He's getting pushed in. He needs to get that wave clear because he's at least at risk of getting dove. Will he survive?
There we
go.
go.
PerkZ who can
no flash.
come in technically with teleport. PerkZ is actually coming.
Oh, they're just going to try and finish him off, but look at the damage the Hustlin's taking. No, Expect forces them to flash away, and PerkZ finishes his TP channel right now. Expect manages to push all three members back.
Turbo Rumble coming in here, looking at the collapse here, piling on by Giants. Now obviously Knight's under pressure here because he's outnumbered.
Yeah, he throws the Time Winder, but immediately he wishes he could rewind right about now, but he's got no chrono break. And the collateral damage is just not enough to finish him off, but man, that was close.
But that leaves Giants exposed here. What a swift reaction from PerkZ here. We asked ourselves earlier, is he going to be mentally affected by those misplays? No. He was right on time to save Expect, and not even that. Turn him around. That was pretty much Rorschach right there. Giants, they weren't ganking Expect. Expect was ganking them.
Sometimes the things you least expect, and well, he's playing big, man. 3-0 on this Rumble, and it all started with Giants just trying to make big plays on him, but he has been resilient and outplaying Giants at every angle. The rest of G2, honestly, not too far behind that as well, as they keep their gold lead, extending it up to about 4,000 on the mark. 17.5 minutes on this map.
Yeah, the only player that could ever deal with Expect in a side lane could maybe be Knight on that Ekko, because he is itemizing so well. Ninja Tabis, and then Seeker's Arm Guard. Combination of Talon and Rengar is not going to take this guy down. Not without him dragging somebody in the grave at least.
Yeah, Flaxxish definitely not tanky enough right now. Knight can usually get himself out of harm's way, but Giants, they really need him to be able to pick off other priority targets here. Giants, they just need some towers right now to try and come back.
Yeah, this Talon pick was sacrificed. First game it was picked early. Second game it was used as a flex tool to really enable that Ekko. Yeah, Flaxxish is suffering.
I like what Giants are trying, experimenting a little bit. You know when you're facing off against a top-tier team, well, you're probably going to lose. You might as well do something a little unorthodox, throw people off.
No, I think these flex picks will be really valuable if they end up in promo tournament. You can take a win off a not-so-experienced team using these kind of tactics, so you can really throw them for a loop and pick them down.
Yes, indeed, but G2, they definitely didn't seem to be phased by it. Mithy, Abyssal voyaging straight into lane. Flaxxish trying to hold this tower, but G2, they should be able to finish it off. Maybe they want to elect for the dive. No, just forcing Flaxxish away. The Ashe Arrow, the teleport. Here's the counter engage here. Hustlin's incoming, Knight's on it. They don't want to go for Mithy just yet, but they're going to have no choice, as Zven was already out of there. Mithy sacrificed.
Look for the cross map. What are they going to do? Push top into rotation, or push mid into rotate top is definitely an option here for G2. Or double siege mid top here. Look at the poke from Mithy, or from PerkZ rather.
He was chasing down Memento off the back of that, and now he's all alone in this mid tower.
Yeah, Drake just shadowing the dragon here, looking to hold. A lot of chip damage here, but no objective looking to fall. Drake still gets to steal away the Scuttle Crab. So this is G2 are playing on 3 objectives at once: top, mid, and dragon.
Trying to grab everything they can while Giants were away. G2 looking to make the play.
Bot lane turret as well. You see Rumble peeling off. He could actually go join mid. I think that would be a good rotation here from Expect. Yeah, look, safe path into mid. Release Perks of the duty, and that means Perks could technically rotate bot if he wants to. But it looks like Rumble is just kind of taking away the red buff here. In between the lanes, stealing objectives. Really smart map play by G2.
Getting everything they want right now. Expect even taking the blast cone out over the Baron pit to get out of harm's way. Once again, we're close to 20 minutes right now, and the first dragon will be started, easily taken out by Trick and Zven. Mountain Drake will help them knock down more objectives. A little bit more fast, a little faster, I should say. Expect is finding Knight. Speaking of fast, how about that? The damage, the snapback. Expect's overheating, but that's not going to be for very long. Equalizer thrown down. Tries to cut off his escape path, but he's got no tower to go back to, and Mithy is incoming. Let's see if Knight's going down here. Perks as well. Knight tries to make the play on the backside, but not going to happen.
Yeah, Expect knew he would always win that fight, because worst case he would disengage and his team would back him up. Devour and the revive was enabled. And this is, again, Giant's super hard commitment to one lane. You know, trying to make a single pick here, but this time Zven shifts in time. He doesn't get slowed. Knight can't trail him and chase his gap closer. They get one kill, but at the meantime, there are so many objectives taken as a cross-map play by G2.
Yep. Even when they lose something, they're able to pick back a lot more. Towers, Dragon, Giant still scrambling to try and find more than just a kill. And, you know, even though Mithy was sacrificed at the same time, there's not much else Giants could get off of it.
Especially Memento. This guy keeps going for plays, and he walks back into his own jungle, and everything's gone. Like, you can't farm a single creep anymore because either Trick or Expect are just taking it away.
Yeah, you can see the big difference in farm right now. It's like, I mean, okay, so maybe jungle CS doesn't mean exactly what it looks like all the time, but still, that's a pretty big difference.
I mean, you can look at the gold here, right? Like 8.8k on Trick right now, and there's 6.8k, so 2,000 gold of the lead is just on Trick versus Memento. And the way you can actually see that G2 generate this amount of gold in the jungle is where he is during a lot of these plays. When you're this far ahead, as a support, so often you want to call your jungle over and you're like, yo man, like, let's duo invade, let's get deep vision, and let's choke him out and force him to face check. G2 actually play a very much so slower game because Trick is always clearing his jungle and the enemy jungle. This guy will optimize farm in a way where team-wise you have slightly less pressure, but over a long period of time, G2 get a lot more resources because they're always maximizing on their side and then taking away half of the other side. That way, they get a lot more.
Yep. Trading a tower right now, but Flaxxish trying to hold on. Expect actually gets nailed by the Ashe arrow. Eaten up by Mithy. There is the denial. That was close, though.
Oh, he spits him into the wall.
Oh, boy. Memento's going in for a hop. He sees the play. He's going to land a bullet strike on a Mithy, and in comes Hustlin. Now, can they finish it? Equalizer is there. Glacial Fissure. It's a fight of ice and fire right now. Crepa Memento, though, he's leaping on in. He's trying to win the game. No, it's Mithy who swallows him up, spits him back out, and Expect comes up with kill number 5.
Couple interesting devours right there. But they were calling for a medic. They needed Perks to come in with the revive. And again, Trick on the side lane, just dealing with that Ekko pressure. And Knight didn't snowball enough in this game that he can't even deal with a jungler on the turret.
Giants trying to mobilize fast to make big plays, but they end up giving a kill over once again to this Rumble, who's honestly popping off at this point. Zanya's complete, and he's got to have a lot of gold in his pocket to go spend back at the item shop.
Must be so fun for these G2 members to play slightly tanky champions and have a medic on standby. They can just put the ask the Air Force to drop him in. Teleport Zilean can always come in and revive you. All you gotta do is wait 5 seconds.
Yeah, they got the big guns, man. Giants, well, they're playing with the baseball bat right now. Knight's still trying to find some kills. 2, 1, and 3. He does have Lichbane complete. He's still a side lane threat, but there's so many tools to deny picks.
Yeah, but the Rengar has really not been working out for the Giants. Like, even right now, they're struggling. Flaxxish, look, what can he do in this situation?
Goes invis for a few seconds, gets some damage.
Mithy with the jukes.
Oh.
I can definitely this play is defendable. It's just, it looks a little bit fun. This is not so defendable. This is really risky. Cost them a teleport. Look at Zven cutting over because they always have mid lane pressure. They always have somebody joining from mid to bot, from mid to top, and they can always win the fights if they stall. And that's why the Zilean pick is such a great 1-3-1 pick. Here they're trying to spit them into the bombs. Eventually, you see these guys still get stunned by double bomb, so because they're overlapping. Also, a little cool mechanic you can do.
The Rengar has been trying to get tanky, spare visage and all, but not enough damage, and again, so much denial from the G2 side. We are 23 minutes into this one. There's going to be another Mountain Drake on the map soon, but right now the vision is all targeted towards the Baron side.
Yeah, looking for a quick day here in the EU LCS.
Yeah, it will be if this ends this way.
Splice 2-0ing Vitality after a bit of a comeback. Giants never really got a goal lead here in this game. They looked good for only a second in the first game, and then G2's prowess just came powering through.
Yeah. So there's the experience difference as well. And you look at Giants, mentioning it last game, and you have 3 newer members coming in, or 3 roster changes rather. G2 sticking with it, and you know they're showing that their experience, 2-time winners of the European LCS, looking for a third as we keep on pushing towards playoffs.
That's something we actually haven't talked about, Pyra, like the contrast in these teams. G2 kept their entire roster together, and then you have Giants rotating new members in every single split. It seems like these guys can't keep the roster together for a while. And then Trick. Oh, run, Tricky! Yep.
I mean, they had all the escapes. Flash, swallowed.
That's teamwork right there. That's the stuff you build over time, Pyra, playing multiple splits together. PerkZ coming in now, looking for an action. And then you need to look at the coaching, right? G2, as they're sieging in here, looking for more damage.
Yeah, Trick taking tower shots. It's all right, though. They're still firing away at this turret. Knight looking to come in parallel. Convergence over the side. Teleport now as he pushes way towards the minion.
G2 want to reset right here, and they want to go back to the bottom lane. And now they have TP advantage, so you could actually expect coming here pretty soon if they find a ward. But again, yeah, G2, they invested in coaching staff. They invested in infrastructure to teach these players to perform better or become better versions of themselves. If you look at Giants, it's kind of only Lozak right there. Last year, their drafting improved, but he even credited it to their AD carry back then, so he now joined them as well. But yeah, that's the problem. Like Giants, they're always fighting an uphill battle every single season.
Yeah, I mean, they've made playoffs a handful of times as well. We've seen Giants honestly come up on the up and up, but they've had, you know, more times in the promotion tournament. It looks like they might be headed there again. Still some games to play out right now. Trick and Hustlin, Tusslin, Knight coming in to try and make a big play onto Trick, but they still had that Zilean ultimate on him. Now he comes around the side. Let's see if he can finish it, and he does outplay the jungle, but PerkZ is hot on his heels right now. Time Winder's out, and I don't think he's going to live through that one.
Nope, he gets the shield. Oh, just in time.
Oh, wow, he's going to walk it out. Let's see if he can get away. It's a great escape. No, Zven denies him.
Zven denies him. Papa Zven comes in, and yeah, that was a really well-timed kind of shift forward from Knight, because he followed the gap closer from Trick. You know, as Trick ulted, he still landed on top of him, and that's what got him the kill. And then some really good moves using the shield very well from the parallel convergence. This wasn't quite enough.
Talking about accolades and experience, I mean, yes, Knight was the guy that we looked to last year as the Giants' big standout player. He's one of the guys that remained, and he can still make big plays every now and again. You see it here.
Yeah, he's really good on these kind of skirmishy, kind of mobile mid laners like Talon and Ekko, but the problem is they are very hard to slot in and play around. Like, it is much harder to play around a Talon and an Ekko than it is to play with a Syndra and an Orianna. It's not cookie cutter, it's not straightforward. So even though, yes, this might happen, like, look at it right here. Like, he follows Trick all the way. And then look at how he gets his shield. Like, these are all nice moments, you know, like a couple photographs in the game, but the big picture is still always in favor of the opposing teams, because Giants, they're just struggling in the mid to late game to get their macro together.
Yeah, honestly, they've looked like they just haven't had a whole lot that they've been able to do past the landing phase in most of their games, and it's nice to see them trying to make these picks, trying to make these plays, but G2 just out-macroed them. Yeah,
that's what, when in doubt, you just group on a single lane, try and get a kill, right? But it becomes so predictable that you will always get cross-mapped, because the beauty is not in the play itself, it is in the setup. It is in always having side lanes pushing, it's always having deep vision, and always having a plan B ready.
Oh yeah. G2 right now, they've got plans A through Z in all honesty, and they don't need to change things up. Finishing off the Mountain Drake, Memento is looking to hop in and try to make something happen, but it's way too little, way too late.
And this is Giants not even aware that they were in that pit, because they saw PerkZ stop. They're like, guys, let's cross-map them, let's go Dragon. They get to Dragon's like, oh, they blast on their way in. Where do we go?
It looks like back to base. That seems to be the answer. 28 minutes now.
Turtle up.
G2 still growing that lead. Last time it took them 36 minutes to close out. They slowed down just a little bit. Minor critique we can level at G2, but right now they have got tower wrecking power. They've got Baron demolishing power. That's 2 Mountain Drakes. That's a big gold lead. What are they going to do with it?
Really good vision control. There's one single ward hopped over that little wall where there's a double TP possible. They're looking to close out the second mid lane turret so they can push in even farther. Zven, look how he's playing, always ready to shift into Mithy's mouth right there.
And he does, right there, off the back of it. Even dishes some fadeaway damage onto HeaQ. Flaxxish heading back up to the top to clear waves. Knight will try to equalize on the bottom side. Should get this turret, but I mean, that's an inner for an outer.
Yeah, but this is going to be Baron Force. There's no way Expect walks to mid lane without G2 starting Nashor. The whole reason that Expect is here is because they're starting Nashor. Giants should be aware of this. They are now, but is it simply too much too late?
They don't even need to peel off right now. It's already gone down to 25,000. Oh, the Ashe arrow comes in. It's not going to snipe off anybody.
Yeah, you saw PerkZ reroute the traffic. He's like, nope, you shall not pass here. Talking to Memento right there. He had to go the long way around, look for a leap, and then G2 moved away from the Baron, so you couldn't even leap into the pit. If he was on time, obviously sidestepping the arrow, because the only way an arrow steals an Asher is the splash damage.
Yep, so they were able to outplay even that possibility. Giants coming up empty-handed once again. And G2, what can they do with this Baron-empowered minions across all the lanes?
Pyra, put your teleports in the side lanes if you want, or you can just go for the kind of rush mid. It looks like they're splitting up still.
Yep. Still one unconquered tower outside the base, and it is in that bottom lane.
Yeah, Zven can even play more aggro right now. He has self-peel finished. He went for Blade of the Ruined King, and then he went for Gauntlet. Actually, interesting different build here. Pretty much old school, no more the... I mean, different. I mean, it's just not the Triforce that we saw so often. So he's so peel-oriented. He really wants to get rid of this Talon, this Rengar, and this Ekko that's going to jump in. He has QSS to get out of maybe the Bolas or the arrows. So you'll see a much more liberated Ezreal pick here.
And they have a lot of damage to spare across the map as well. I mean, you look at Expect 5 and 0 on this Rumble. Trick has been doing his usual thing, and PerkZ has got quite a lot as well.
It's also sustained. It's much better to go Iceborne here. I definitely like that pick. Zven doesn't even have to be afraid here. He plays so far forward because he has obviously that QSS and Mithy next to him.
And with a couple Mountain Drakes as well as the Baron buff, they're able to easily polish off that last tower, demolishing it. And let's see what they can do in this 1-3-1.
PerkZ just goes mid. It's a 1-3-1 that will always turn into like a collapse because you want PerkZ with the team, right? You don't want your Zilean split pushing, but you still want him to put pressure on the lanes. So that is what PerkZ is doing right now. He pushes up mid, and then he's ready to turbo speed himself up to the bottom lane.
Ozark looking on, hoping his team has answers to try and get a collapse themselves.
G2 should play slow here because they just want to let Rumble push in the top side. They just want 5 members of Giants in vision bottom wave so the Rumble can push in. Now obviously Talon's going to hold, and then Expect has to decide, does he go mid with his team or can he win the 1v1?
So far he's looking at that 1v1, but meanwhile it's checking on Knight as he goes all in onto PerkZ, dodging bombs.
Obviously, if they commit too far in the mid lane, that leaves an opening in the bottom lane. That is what G2 is trying to do here. They were trying to pull out the defense of Giants into directions where they can't really hold anymore, and then they can force open a turret. And once one turret falls, this push and pull will really work out.
Knight's looking for the collapse, though. Not going to be able to find it right now, and you can see Expect being brought into the mid.
They want to force mid here. Look at Expect. He came down. The zoning from PerkZ goes out. It's actually not the bottom lane turret. It's also the mid lane turret that's going to fall. And right now, Giants are crumbling.
G2 are getting everything they want right now, scrambling between everybody to try and get out of harm's way. It's Mithy who gets caught on the Ashe arrow. Equalizer gets thrown down. Will Giants pay for that one? They're getting low, but Redemption coming in. In comes PerkZ on the flash. Knight snaps back right into the team, but he's forced to get the hell out of there as Zven chases him down to pick a kill. The rest of Giants licking their wounds, heading back to Fountain, but their base is in shambles.
Yeah, a couple lucky moments right there. Mithy going down without being able to be revived because obviously Zven did not take that carry, that arrow out for his support, even though he had QSS. And then Devour available. They sold Mithy, but it wasn't enough. A nice move from Knight as well. He used his ultimate to dodge the second bomb from PerkZ. But even with all that, it was just too much gold advantage for G2.
And they keep on growing it, grabbing themselves both inhibitors, pushing into the base. Giants, they're not done just yet, but man, they're bleeding out at the moment.
Yeah, they're bleeding out. 2 inhibs down. This should be a clean finish for G2. Put the dots on the eye, go home with another 2-0, and remain undefeated in series for well over a year right now in the European LCS.
Here's that play again.
Yeah, look at him. Mithy, he's like, I'll devour you. You can QSS the arrow. I got you. He got sold. And then PerkZ comes in. I mean, it's going to be like a hero. Flash double bomb. 1 bomb. 2. Nope. Knight just says, jumps out. Doesn't block his teammates. Zven is actually going out of mana in these fights. That's how long they're lasting.
Yeah,
so these are really well played fights by Giants. The problem is simply too late. Expect is dealing a ton of damage.
Yeah, playing with a lot of heart, trying to hang on, but it's oh so hard against this G2 squad. Controlling everything on the map right now.
Mithy, 0 damage.
I wonder why that was.
Yeah, that's when you wait for your team to win, and then you make give him some feedback after the fight. It's like, hey guys, my name's Tahm Kench. I have Devour. he's so pissed off that he bought his own QSS. He's like, you know what, guys? If you're not going to help me...
Never again.
I'm going to help myself. I'm going to buy my own QSS.
He's got enough gold to spare, though. G2, their coffer's pretty much overflowing this time around. There's another dragon spawning. It's Infernal, but there is no need for G2 to try and pick this one up. They're marching up the top lane. It's a 4-1 with Expect in the mid. Trying to finish off the last of those inhibitors.
Yep,
see if they can end the game here.
Right now, looking for the side flank. Mithy
Ashe
again, but surprise!
This time he has the QSS, get him out of harm's way. Flaxxish going around the side, big glacial fissure here, but there's Redemption on Knight in the back. Do they have enough damage to finish off the job? Expect was flanking the flankers, but he goes golden as Knight can't finish him off just yet. There we go, the big shutdown, but meanwhile, the rest of Giants are falling to pieces, and HeaQ is gonna have to get to the safety of tower, or is it so safe? Trick coming in, a double kill, a triple kill, and there's no defenders left for Giants.
Yeah, straight to the Nexus for G2. Flanker Z right there, Pyra. They take it home.
Oh, yes, they do. 2-0 for G2. They continue their undefeated domestic streak. GG, well played.
And they're happy. That was a super clean fight by G2 eSports, mainly because they caught Giants completely off guard. They were trying to do the same thing, take out the Tahm Kench, and that's what you have to do. That's why Tahm Kench is such a strong pick versus Ashe, because you're always forced to try and take him out first. The second he popped that QSS, Giants knew it was over.
Yep. Big buy there at the end for the Tahm Kench, and G2 can be pretty happy with their performance in both of those games.
The entire organization kind of right there, 5 players. And then they have Sharks, Weldon, and Youngbuck. And then obviously also outside here. He was here last week in the studios. Yep. He released an interview where he told them he loves them unconditionally because. Because. Win or lose. And then he followed up. It was quite fun from a grammatic point of view. But yes, he says, you know what, these guys, it doesn't matter. If they fail again, we're going to give it our all. We're going to set us up for success as best as we can. And then it doesn't really matter what happens next, as long as we gave it our all during the split. And that mentality allows you to play with the necessary amount of freedom. Yeah. It's got to feel good, not just being in a big lead, not just being 11-0 and close enough to that perfect split, but they know that their owners got their back, the whole org's got their back. And this is what a top-tier team in Europe looks like. Yeah, look at them, man. Coaching staff rolling up the mouse pads for you. Well done. Adding value to the team. It's probably for an interview, but yeah. Of course, of course. But yeah, G2, they've just got to be so happy with what's going on. Maybe a little bit of critique in game 1, not finishing as fast as they could. Okay, they improved it by a minute, but honestly, you're just trying to knock off little things there, and it's just minor improvements every time. If you ask them what was happening in that closure, they're like, yeah, okay, we were trolling a bit. That's what they will tell you. But yeah, these guys know that's the best part about it. As much flack as they get for failing internationally, they just show up consistently a tier ahead of the teams in Europe, and they honestly understand their mistakes, and that's why it's so hard. Like, it's so hard for them to find, I think, practice that can push them forward. Because when you get smashed in scrims, you can open up the VOD and be like, okay, where did we go wrong? How did they outplay us this hard? But when you're this good of a team, especially on stage, it's really hard to improve. Yeah, I mean, it honestly is, and this is why they've got to be looking ahead to more international competition. Obviously, we're getting ahead of ourselves because they've got to play through the playoffs, of course, but, I mean, with that win, they lock themselves the #1 seed in their group. It was all but confirmed before, but they officially do it. They dot it down on paper. It means they get the bye for week 1, and they can kick back and watch as the other teams fight it out. I think Expect right here put a vote for himself here for MVP with that performance. Because he took the aggro in both games. He was getting targeted. In this Rumble, he showed up with tons of damage. Trick also played well here. So those would be kind of the 2 guys that I'm looking at for MVP performance. Obviously, we can't give too much to Zven because he's playing scaling carries. And once he scaled up, the game's over, Pyra. They're like 8,000, 10,000 gold in the lead. Playing as slippery as he could. I mean, Giants still managed to find a couple picks on him early on in the game, but as you mentioned, they're just tunneling so fast on trying to get individual kills. But, that's it for us. For more, Quick Shot standing by with G2's AD carry. That's Zven.